Your Cleveland Browns just hit the motherload of updates. What's up, everybody? My name is Colin, and this is Standard Coverage, a newer channel just getting started. Give me a little bit of time. Give me a chance here. I'll tell you what, today I want to break down how your Cleveland Browns just hit, yes, the motherload of updates, but specifically, if you've been living under a rock and you've been missing anything related to the Cleveland Browns, whether it be some of the things that happened in the draft, some of the stories behind the picks, the UDFAs, the QB room conversations, the quotes from Barry, the quotes from your head coach, a bunch of different information. Here it is. Here's the recap for you. My one ask and my one request for you is that you would hit the subscribe button, join the community, and also if you find any value in this video, make sure to like the video. Let's start off here. Let's just do a quick recap, 30-second briefing on what we're going to be talking about. First and foremost, Andrew Barry traded back for number 6 and still gets the best offensive tackle in the draft. Love the pick. Drafted 10 players, 8 on offense. We've got to talk about Casey Concepcion. Number 3, drafted or signed rather 14 UDFAs and 8 of them are on defense. A rebalance of what the draft was. Not only that, one of the UDFAs currently has the highest guaranteed money in the NFL per a contract standard, which again, Isaiah Bond. This is not a new thing for the Browns. Number 5, Watson reportedly has the inside track over Sanders. Again, Dylan Gabriel is still part of the picture, but you know, the 2027 class is looming. We've got to talk about that. And lastly, PFF gave your Cleveland Browns, an A, 4th in the NFL in wins above replacement added. That's a big stat. Let's continue on here. So Andrew Barry trades back, then he hits, frankly, in my opinion, on every single round. You love Spencer Fano. You love the protection, especially if you are in the camp of wanting Deshaun Watson back. I don't know. Give me your thoughts right now down in the comments. Fill me in. Do you want Dylan Gabriel? Do you want a quarterback in 2027? Do you want Shedeur Sanders? Not me. Or do you want Deshaun Watson? I think Deshaun Watson, when people say he has the inside track, I think that's actually real. But you can protect him now. Hopefully he won't have 3 years of injuries like he has. But again, Casey Concepcion, he's probably the 4th best receiver in this entire class by a margin. He is an incredible separator, an incredible route runner. He's from Rochester, New York. He's a player who definitely is a game changer. He's better than what Jerry Jeudy has always been. Not only that, you guys get a true deep threat in Denzel Boston to pair up with Harold Fannin. Quinshon Judkins and Dylan Sampson coming back from these injuries, or really Quinshon coming back from the injuries. Dylan Sampson's, I believe, ready to go. But not only that, pick 58, you get McNeil Warren, the safety, to pair up with the back end of your dominant defense. It's not reckless. Maybe it is in some sense because Myles Garrett's just a freak. But not only that, you get an offensive tackle, Austin Barber, in the 3rd round. You get a center in the 4th round. Your line is looking pretty. You get another tight end, another value tight end who's a well-balanced player, linebacker, quarterback, and Taylon Green, and then, of course, another tight end. It's a well-rounded draft, a lot of offensive pieces. It really surprised me that you guys went back-to-back receivers in those top 39 picks. But you guys, for years, the Browns for years have really needed extra wide receiver power. Jerry Jeudy, some of these other guys we'll talk about in a little bit, they're fine. But you know what? These two boys right here, Casey Concepcion and Denzel Boston, have just raised the ceiling from 25 points per game to 29 to 30 points per game in year 1. Can the quarterback in Deshaun Watson come back? Can he have any scrambling game like he did with the Houston Texans? Can he not turn the ball over? If those things are true, your offensive line, your offensive system as a whole is going to be rocking. But let's just talk about these two building blocks, frankly, that are going to be incredible assets for the Cleveland Browns going forward. Again, Spencer Fano, Outland Trophy winner, unanimous All-American, 5 pressures in over 800 snaps in 2025, 0 sacks, 0 hits. Again, first real tackle answer since the legend himself, Joe Thomas. Again, he even talked about Joe Thomas as being starstruck by him. Casey Concepcion, likewise, he wins some awards himself. He's the most versatile wide receiver in college football. But here's the thing about Casey Concepcion: a lot of people are worried about his usage. Is he going to be another slot receiver? No, I can just tell you this: as a guy who who really loved his tape out of Texas A&M. He really separated well down the field. It didn't matter if he was on press man coverage. It didn't matter if he was on zone coverage. He found the weak, soft zones. He took advantage of them. He had 61 catches as his last year in college, 919 yards, 9 touchdowns at A&M. Again, he wrote a public letter to all 32 teams and said, hey, don't forget about me. Just like Amon-Ra St. Brown is, I bet, he's like Carnell Tate, Jordan Tyson, and whatever the last guy's name was, Mekhi Lemon. He's got those guys' names in his journal right now, in his mind. And he says, I'm versatile and I make plays. You guys got a dog. But Emmanuel McNeil Warren as well, he might have been one of the biggest value adds in the entire draft. Your defense for the Cleveland Browns has already been incredible. The run stuffing ability that you guys have had has been top tier, top 3 in the entire NFL last year. But again, you guys get a safety at pick 58 that was a top 25 player in the entire class. 91.9, highest PFF grade in the entire 2026 draft class. Again, Andrew Berry moves up 12 spots to secure him from potentially the 49ers taking him. Again, Barry confirmed that Cleveland considered him at pick 39, which you love to hear, but it was ecstatic to find him at 58. This is what value-based drafting is all about, which is why Andrew Berry is one of the top GMs in the NFL, regardless of some of his maybe blunders with players here or there. But the QB room story, again, is being danced around nationally. Again, let me know what you think right now about the QB situation. As a guy who's not a Cleveland Browns fan, I've got to admit that, just be forthcoming with you guys. I do think that Deshaun Watson is your best option going into this season. Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, was it Tyler Green? I'm just not feeling that. Can Deshaun Watson get his mobility back? Watson's, of course, got that $230 million deal. He hasn't completed a full 17 games since he was with the Texans. This isn't just the evaluation year for him. This is the make it or break it year. The 2027 class is stacked. If you guys are back up on the clock in top 10 next year, you guys are selecting another quarterback. And for the league, I hate that. I want the Browns to be good. You guys have every opportunity to do that with these new weapons, with this new line. Can Deshaun Watson bring it together? 5 quotes, though. Andrew Berry says, we were very pleased with all the activity this evening, talking about being able to move and get some more draft capital. Todd Monken, head coach, on Spencer Fano. His character was first, the way he's wired. Spencer Fano, hyper-productive. Only a couple pressures and 822 snaps, but for some reason, he's still being talked about by his character and not his production. Shedeur Sanders going out of year 2 feels bulletproof, doesn't feel like he's hitting that rookie wall anymore. Spencer Fano, even himself, saying, I am really, really excited to learn specifically from Joe Thomas. Get that man back in the building somehow. Again, Todd McShay, you can really actually elevate Shedeur this year. Again, let me know your thoughts on the QB carousel, what's going on with that. But Barry brings a guy in, Logan Fano, yes, the brother of the other Fano, is the edge from Utah. He gets $310,000, largest UDFA guarantee in the NFL this year. No one crossed $288K so far, and actually the $310,000 was more than 75 draft picks received in their are going to receive in their multi-year rookie contracts. Again, in 2025, Isaiah Bond had that $3 million deal, but Logan Fano, $310K, 2 years, 2 league-leading UDFA guarantees. That's conviction by Andrew Berry right there. But again, the actual roster has some fights now in result of the UDFA class and result of the draft class. Now, a couple things on that very particularly. Every single year, it doesn't happen with every single team, but most teams have 1 to 3 players from their UDFA classes that do find their way onto the roster for a handful of reasons. Sometimes they were a diamond in the rough. Sometimes a team is tight on cap constraints and they've got to make cuts on players that maybe they're longer in the tooth. Maybe they're an older player that just doesn't have a huge long-term value for the team. So they cut him so they can bring in a developmental prospect who has a higher ceiling at a lower cost. That happens. At the edge room, again, this is probably now your most contested room for the Cleveland Browns. You've got Wright and Garrett locked in. You've got McGuire and Okwara on notice. Okwara, Julian, is fine, but he's getting older. Logan Fano's $310K guaranteed is, again, his conviction from Andrew Berry to say, hey, him and maybe even Tyreek Sapp, again, once a potential top 50 talent in the draft class, might come and crash the party. Again, the QB carousel is going on. I'm not going to talk about that anymore. The wide receiver room, though, you've got Judy and Tillman, Bond, Concepcion battling. Not only that, you had Denzel Boston, Wallace, Thrash, a bunch of other dudes. Not only that, you've got a massive shifty group of UDFAs coming in, which we'll talk about in a moment. But again, the secondary is quietly being rebuilt by some stalwart, high-grade PFF guys coming in, again, in McNeil Warren. My honest projection for the Cleveland Browns this next year, the ceiling is 11 and 12 wins. I don't think the Ravens are going to come out swinging. I think, yes, they struggled last year because of Lamar being hurt. But I think losing Harbaugh really does matter for the Ravens. The Bengals are one injury away from going, on another 6-win season. The Pittsburgh Steelers are losing Tomlin. Where is the consistency in the division right now? Is it Zach Taylor and the Bengals? Or is it the Browns and their defense? And is it Deshaun Watson coming back and elevating this team and getting some offensive weapons that he's just never had before? It could be a really fun year. 12 wins is definitely in the realm of possibility. 8 to 10 is very realistic in my mind. But again, the risk is, does Todd Monken, does Andrew Berry, do they make some good right choices when it comes to quarterback? Again, did Cleveland give themselves the offense to know what Shedeur is? Yes. But I don't think Shedeur is really your ceiling anyway, or the best player for the job. I think personally, I'd rather roll personally with, again, with Deshaun Watson. You let me know your thoughts down in the comments. But in all of it, Barry didn't just have a good draft. I think he had a good week. He drafted and brought in a couple guys. I didn't mention the 3 dudes, but you guys brought in 3 receivers who, frankly, in my book, are all slot type dudes, 160 to 180, 185 pounds, all smaller height guys that can really get some short area separation, potentially some punt returning specialization there. I'm excited for even the good week that he had and for your Cleveland Browns. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments on all of it. Hey, thank you so much for tuning in. Again, my name is Colin. This is Standard Coverage. Just bring in some more nuanced takes than maybe what national media is portraying, hopefully in a short amount of time, about a 12-minute video for us today. Have a great day. God bless. We'll see you later.